Hello. Um, I wanted to do this video because one of my subscribers has lost their grandmother. Am I correct on that? Yes, their grandmother. I don't know if she wants me to say her name. Um, so I'm not going to do that. But she know who she is. I just messaged her. Just messaged her. And this is not only for her. Now, I did this video because of her. I've lost someone, as I talked about in numerous videos. I think about the passing of my father. Um, it's People say with time it gets better. Yeah, it kind of gets better. Um, with me, it has been a journey actually for me since the passing of my father in '08. No, '09. Michael died because Michael Jackson died a year after my father. So it was like, and when my father passed, before he passed, there was a lot of tension between him and I because of who I am and the fact that he didn't like who I was and who I am, and the fact that he wanted me to change it was quite crazy. You know what I mean? Yes, '08. My father died in '08. Michael died the year next. Um, and when I went into the hospital to see him in Ohio, in Dayton, Ohio, where he is from, um, I went in with the intention of anger, but that quickly melted away once I seen him in all them wires and just locked to a bed. I've never seen my father like that. Like, I've always seen my father as a strong, take no prisoners type of person. Even though he was a mighty small, he was like a half of me, not even half, like, I think a little piece of me. Hold on, my feet are cold. But yes, um, I went in with the intent of anger, to not give a damn and things like that. But it didn't end up that way. Because once I seen him lay there, lying there with all them tubes running through every which way of his body, and him being just lifeless. Because my father's always been skinny, like real thin. But seeing him there, just looking almost dead, his hair was completely gone, like he had shaved his hair. Like he had shaved his head. He's always kept a low haircut, like it looked like that. But he looked bald, like he took and shaved. He had no teeth. He already had no teeth at the top because he had problems. So he only had the teeth at the bottom. But when I went to see him, he had no teeth. He had two, three teeth at the most, four. And seeing him in that state, weak and, like, not saying weak, but you know what I mean, like physically, eh, physically he's weak. Mentally and emotionally, my father's a strong man, and he was a strong man. Oh, excuse me. And seeing him lying there, I broke down in tears. When I cried, he cried. And my little sister Renisha, who was deaf, she couldn't look at him. She could not. She knew what was going on because we had informed her, but ahead of time. But she just could not look at him, and all I could do was look at him like, oh my god. And I mean, my glasses was foggy. I couldn't see nothing. He was crying, and it was just like we was forgiving, and we was trying to mend our bridges before the last moment. And I get teary eyed thinking about it because it's like I wish so much that he was still here. And when when we got through, and Renisha, she finally, because I went outside, for my um, uncle and auntie to console me. Um, all I heard was Renisha all I heard was screaming, bust out, and like she couldn't dare, she just couldn't hold it. And I mean, okay, she couldn't hold, like, I guess when she looked over, she just lost it. And that made me lose it even more. And I walked in, I hugged him. I couldn't hug him like I wanted to because there was nothing there to hug. You know what I mean? And he, and when I got to the door, when I was standing and at the door, he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he said, "Son, get that fixed." And I already knew what he was talking about because we've had, well, when I came out to him, told him who I was, he already told me I was sick and I needed help and things like that. And I'm like, excuse you? Help, nigga. Like, I really had strong animosity towards him. And I was I missed him because the week after that, we had, like, the day before he died, I talked to him. My mother talked to him before me. Because I stayed with my aunt Carolyn at the time, and he had talked to my mother, and my mother told him, save your voice for your son. And he got on the phone with me. We talked for a little while. I don't even know what the conversation was about. We talked for a little while, and the last words that I said to him was, "I love you, and I'll see you. I love you, and I'll see you later." He said, "I love you too, son, and I'll see you later." And that next day, he died. That week after we went up to Ohio, I talked to him, and then that day, I talked to him. Hold on, y'all. Um, Excuse me. That week before he died, I talked to him. Hold up, I'm mixed all over the place right now. Hold up. Um, because I always go back to that moment, and it's like, wow. The week before he died, no, the week before he died, me and my sister and my uncles went up to Ohio to see him. My father died June 24th. So the week beforehand, we went up to Ohio to see him. And then we came back down or whatever. Um, and I think the 23rd, June 23rd, I talked to him, and I said, we had a conversation or whatever, and I said, I love you. I love you, Pops. Or I love you, Dad. It was one of them. Um, and I'll see you later. Love you. I think I said it twice. I probably did, knowing me. Excuse me. Um, and he said, I love you too, son, and I'll see you later. Um, and the 25th, I meant the 24th, my Aunt Carolyn, no, my Uncle Calvin and Aunt Ruth came over that night, and they told me and my Aunt Carolyn that my father passed. And when he told me, at first I just didn't register. It just didn't, like, what? Excuse me. And it did not register at all. I even to this day, I don't even remember what my thought. I was just like, I was blank. I was completely, utterly blank, and I just, I lost. I lost. I just lost it, and from that moment, I knew my life had changed forever. And I felt weak. I actually fell to my knees because I was weak. I just couldn't hold on. And I called my mother, not thinking that she would react the way she did, but she made me react even worse because she just started screaming on the phone. My mother and my father always had a rocky relationship, but you have to understand, me and my little sister Renisha hold them together because she had his children, and he's the father of her two children. So, two of her three children. So, I could understand her anguish. And we went up to Ohio for his memorial service, which was just quick, um, which was real quick, and they cremated him. And what made me mad about them was they didn't even ask me, the firstborn, his firstborn and only son. He didn't even ask me what I thought. I didn't even get to see his body, but they said his chest was caved in and everything. Um, and to this day, I think about him. I, you know, it, the simplest things, a box of cereal, or a trip to the grocery store, or even a trip to our old neighborhood, which was Douglasville, where I remainder of my life I grew up. For some of my life, I grew up, and okay, I'm gonna get to this video because tears are trying to come out my eyes. Dang! Um, and to this day, as a 22-year-old grown man, I just think like, what if, shoulda, woulda, coulda, and all that is like, I wish my father was here so that we can talk man to man and talk face to face about who I am and try to get him to understand what I was, who I was. And I will never have that chance. I can only dream and wish that me and my father had an awkward relationship. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was just awkward. You know, we spoke, we had good rapport, but most times it was just awkward and weird. And, I, I wish so much that I could have talked to him, that I could have said the words that I wanted to say. And it's like, I, and I mean, we could have talked it out over a basketball game, but because my uncle had got us tickets for me and my father's basketball game, but I was young, ignorant, and naive, and filled with hate and anger, and I was pissed off, and I just didn't even want to see him. But if I could take it all back, I would go to that basketball game and I would talk to him and let him know that I'm still little Nathan. I'm still your son, but I'm a grown. I'm at the time I was what, 17, 18. I'm still your son. I'm still your son. You know. So, baby girl, I'm gonna tell you like this, baby girl, and to everyone else who's ever lost anyone close to you, family member, a friend, whomsoever. Yeah, it does get easier, but it gets hard as well, harder, because once you get over the initial shock of the death, you start to think. And what I'm gonna say to you and to everyone else, just stay in your faith and know that they are in a better place and that they're not suffering.